Hello, this is KD0 bringing out our free commentary on Snowblower. On top side of the map we have a blue Empire player whose name is the Q3 Backer. Rising Sun indeed. And on the bottom side of the map we have a green Soviet player whose name is Suck or Die. A very compelling suggestion there. And the Empire player has opened with a dojo, well, of course generator first, a dojo, 3 dojo cores into 2 refinery eco blue, and his opponent is going to open with a barrack first, looking for some early map control, and he has produced a engineer and a battle to escort it to this refinery, not refinery, or derrick here I would assume, to look for some early economical advantage over his opponent, I would think, and we will see how it plays out. And keep in mind that if the Empire gets the economical advantage, they can be pretty scary since their unit is very potent, very mobile, very versatile, can instantly change from ground to air to ground, and yeah, with a very large variety of attack option by the by the Empire player there. And with both sides streaming infantry to the center of the map, we are going to see an early engagement here. We will just have to see which side gets into that house first. Oh, Soviet player was not paying attention. 1 down, 2 down, 3 being cut down by the katana of the Imperial warrior there. Wow, and even shooting away at one of the conscripts with his assault rifle, and with his buddy assisting inside the building here, he will be able to take out almost all the conscripts. Oh no, the conscript he doesn't have any hope of surviving here. Even if he gets into that building, the Empire will still have the Imperial warrior to rush inside and cut him down. And we see with the loss of the early infantry force, the Soviet player is going to be having no choice but to allow his opponent to press against this front store with these infantry, and they're just happily shooting away at the barrack here. The barrack is, keep in mind, the weakest building of all in your arsenal. Well, I don't know if you have buildings in your arsenal, but hey, it's going to be very easy for the Imperial warriors to destroy this barrack here, and the Soviet player, recognizing that his piece behind generally, he cannot just hope to overwhelm his opponents at this particular point of the game. He has to assume his opponent has mech by now, even if he doesn't see the mecha bay, in fact, and he has to assume that his opponent has mech at this particular point of the game, so he cannot hope to overwhelm his opponent by just straight up producing the units that you need out onto refineries. And he, recognizing that, this is going to move his MCV to 4 o'clock of the map, looking to expand there with a 3rd refinery coming up. And if any advantage that he has is this tech. He does have a Tech 2 building the super reactor down, so he can produce hammer tanks. But with the units in a larger number, the Empire player is going to have just enough to harass his opponent long enough for him to erect up his tier 2 as well. I can only assume that the thing that's being produced inside of the mecha bay is tier 2. You don't really have much other choice in this particular matter. And with the harassment nice and little done, the Empire player is going to move the hell out of there before the tank gets any chance to attack the tankers here. And knowing that there's an expansion here with 1 scouting Imperial warriors inside of the building, he is going to move one of his tankers to be attacking away at this ore connector here, just to annoy his opponent and delay his economy that much more, that he would have enough to build up his VX count. Oh, we see an upgrade there, so here has become the advanced rocket port upgrade for the Imperial forces, which will just make your air force this much more potent. The rockets this much more potent, and now he's going to move his VX towards this direction, looking to destroy this hammer tank here, or possibly just move in here, looking to attack his opponent's refinery, since the Soviet player doesn't really have any anti-air force at this particular location. And one risk that you have to take when you expand is that you will open up more avenue of attack for your opponents, and it in time can be very annoying for you when you are being against a Empire player, since your opponents does have a very wide variety of units choice and in very early game, while you have to take up to a fairly reasonable level of tech first before you can produce things that will give you more versatility. Say Air Force, the Empire player can just produce his Air Force and Ground Force out of the Mega Blade, whereas the Soviet player has to produce a specific structure called airfield. It's self-explanatory just by its names, to produce air force to counter the air of the Empire player. But you do have other the anti-air firepowers. You have bullfrogs, which is very effective anti-air indeed, but the attention being drawn away at this particular location, the Soviet player is going to lose his barrack to a few Imperial warriors there, and the Empire player is just doing a good job of harassing his opponents back and forth, and even managed to destroy the one of the miners here just to slow down his opponent's economy this much more. And we see a third refinery of the Empire player is up while he was harassing his opponent all day long, and managed to cause some pretty serious losses, considering how little firepower the Imperial warriors can pack against structures. And with tier 2 down and once looking for upgrades, the Empire player's force is looking to be very potent, since now it consists of Tengus, tsunami tanks and VXs, which is a very wide variety of units. A bit of lost of breath here. I'm sorry guys, I am just a bit sick. In fact, I'm still having a fever, 39 degrees I think. But nothing is more important than casting games, so we're back to the game at hand. The Empire player is just keeping up with his unit production from his Mega Bay here, although I think it will be more expedient for him to move to other type of units. Say if you can produce a navy that consists of Shogun battleship, then this game will be pretty awesome, but I'm just imagining it away myself, just doing a little nice imagination, then regardless of the reality in the games here. But hey, that's what I do. I'm a fanboy of the Empire forces. The very good Empire players would always be able to trigger my interest. Well, I'm not saying the players of other factions don't trigger my interest, but most so that of Empire players, since I am an Empire player myself. Excuse me, I was reading a bit of text for my mobile phone there, and back to the game. And the Empire player is gathering up his units at the front gate of the Soviet player's force here, looking to make a push with support of his infantry, namely the Imperial warriors and the tank busters. The tank busters, though, in my opinion, by the way, are very good against vehicles. So with this mech center army, I don't know how well would the Soviet player do against the Empire player's army, since now the Empire player does have a larger economy, and he has a very potent force pressing against the Soviet players from store. Although the one good secret protocol use could turn the tide exactly around here, and the Soviet player is just looking to move his MCV to crush the major DPS dealers, namely the infantry here, and the Empire just doing a fantastic job of microing his units, moving his infantry away for them to survive this much longer, for him to be able to destroy the MCV using his VXs, and landing these VXs, while the bullfrogs, 2 bullfrogs are more than enough to shoot down 2 VXs, by the way. And moving down with this VXs is actually a very wise choice, and being infected by a terror drone, though, is certainly not a very good idea. We see that the Empire player is now going to continue with this push, it seems. And he might just enough to break his opponent. But then again, it works both ways. The Soviet player might just enough as well to counter this push and make a counter push that will practically end the game. But the balance of the game is so delicate, especially, excuse me, I have to catch my breath for a bit there, with the fact that the MCV of the Soviet player was destroyed there, so the Soviet player doesn't have any capacity whatsoever to transition into other styles of play, I would say, since he only has very little unit varieties and he cannot expand anymore, and with his opponents already have a very large economic advantage over him. There's one refinery up for the Empire player. The Soviet player would find it quite troublesome to try to make a counter push with a critical number of units that will practically be enough to break his opponents. It's going to prove fairly difficult for him to do it just that. And with a bit micro from the Empire player there, he's going to keep this structure just long enough, keep this structure just alive long enough for him to produce more units in order to counter the opponent's counter push. A very intriguing expression indeed, and putting a few tank busters inside of this structure here, the center of the map will be practically impregnable for the Empire player here, because you have to destroy this structure, otherwise you will take some pretty heavy losses here by the firepower of tank busters, as you can see, instantly destroying one hammer tank here. Although with the Leacher bin, I would say that the Soviet army has a longer range. We'll just have to see how he plays out. If the Empire player is able to make a sufficient insertions for his forces to break any of these units here, he will be looking to be in a very good shape. And this push is looking fairly scary for the Empire player here. He has a air force in a grand total of 3 in number for the striker VXs here, now 4, pulling away with 1 VX, preventing it from being destroyed by one of the Bukov here, while the tsunami tank is just moving in to destroy the anti-air force of the Soviet player here, and the tank army of the Soviet player is just rapidly melting away by the firepower of the tank busters here. And now with any form of anti-air of any description, well, he does have a flying trooper, but with just 1 infantry he can't really do much, especially with the fact that now his unit production facility, war factory, is going to be destroyed indeed, and he doesn't really have any means of coming back. Recognizing that the Soviet player is going to GG out of this game. A very good game, a very exciting game from both of the players here. Good job by Eminence, our Empire player. I love you. I'm not gay, by the way.